What up, and welcome to Living For You, the YouTube channel. It's me, your favorite uncle, your favorite cousin, your favorite father, your favorite nephew, your best friend's best friend, Dr. Larry Smith. And once again, welcome to the Living For You, the YouTube channel. For those of you who are new to this channel is a safe space. It's a place where we talk not just common sense, not just entertainment and fun, not just life coaching, but we really try to grow together. Me and you all out there, we try to grow together to be the best that we can be today, not yesterday, not in the future, but today. Because if you start today being the best that you can be, tomorrow is already determined that you're going to be the best you can be then. So welcome to the channel. Those of you who are loyal, faithful followers, subscribers who have subscribed and have been coming with me this entire year over this journey, I love you. Your family, thank you. I appreciate you. I value you. I honor you. I see you. I hear from you. I respond to you. So I love you, love you, love you. You're my family. You're my heart. Keep coming back and keep sharing, and let's keep growing this community. To those of you who want to know more about me and my businesses, you can go to www.liveforyoucoaching.com. That is my life coaching business. I am a certified life and spiritual coach, amongst other things. And so therefore, you can find out why I do what I do, how I get to the place to have done what I do. And if you want to join me, and if you want to become a coach, we got all kinds of things that we got going on coming up in the future. And I would love to have a team of coaches where we gather together and we hold light and we hold sacred space for people to have more access to be able to become their better self. So once again, that's at www.liveforyoucoaching. You can find out about everything that's going on right now in this moment with me, the businesses, and life. And if you just want to hear about me and hear from me on a day-to-day basis, you can actually follow me on social media at Instagram and on Facebook at Dr. Larry Smith. I'm there. I post something every day. I love to post. I love to engage. So let's keep this positive spirit and positive energy going on. So I wanted to jump on today because I felt like it was a very sensitive topic that was going around. It's a very sensitive subject that was happening, and I felt like it was important to give it from a life coach's perspective. You guys have seen me give a lot of different things from a life coach's perspective because that's what I'm here to do. That's what I'm called to do. That is my mission, my purpose, my passion, and so it's what I do. And so I was watching the news, and I'm sure we've all heard about the situation about Andrew Cuomo in New York, who is the governor of New York, and how there's these allegations of sexual and inappropriate misconduct on his part. Now, here's the thing. For those of you who don't know, I am very transparent about myself. I vote, and when I vote, I have voted Democratic all my life. In my voting life, whenever I started to vote. And if you know my history, you know I grew up in a very conservative background, and I grew up where I wasn't voting and I wasn't engaging in the political process. But when I finally did in 2008, with the election of Barack Obama, I've always just been voting Democrat. Why? Because I believe generally principles that I uphold for myself and for my family, and for those I connect towards me, generally the Democrats are more in line with that, especially as a black man. And you guys know I am big on contacting my roots in Africa. I'm big on knowing my history. I'm big on knowing who I am in totality, and that includes my race. And so for me, it may not be for everybody else, but for me, I kind of connect to the Democratic Party right now. Maybe in the future it might be different, but right now this is what it is. And so I'm open about that. And there is a kind of an interesting situation that I see happening with not just in the Democratic Party, pretty much in party politics across the board. And I posted something on Facebook about it, and because it's been weighing on my mind. I feel that people have become very much team oriented, into team sports. I am on this team. I believe this, and these people believe this, and so I side with them. I am on this team because these people believe this, and so I side with them. And so what happens is you got people who are not only picking teams based on what they believe in, or based on what their life vision for themselves are, just like I said I did, choosing to vote Democrat. But the problem that I have is people are so loyal to that team that they're able to excuse bad behavior from their team. I can recall over the last 4 years, we had the situation with the guy in office, Trump, And I didn't agree with pretty much anything hardly that he said. There was probably 1 to 2% of the things that he said that I agreed with. And I was vocal about it. Many times I actually have gotten on Facebook jail over my opinions, not necessarily being rude, but it seems like Facebook is highly sensitive now to those things. And so I've gotten in Facebook jail over some of my opinions about some of the things Trump would say and Trump would do, and some of the things his supporters would say and some of the things that they would do, and just simple responding, trying to be professional, trying to be kind, trying to be peaceful, but at the same time trying to be honest and express how I feel. And so I was calling him out on his stuff. I was calling him out on the things he did. There were allegations made against him from the very beginning, and I said if these allegations are true, then there needs to be a court case and a court trial to prove or disprove this fact. But either way, I don't just dismiss allegations as they're trying to take people down. So I said, oh, so we need to get to the bottom of this. Well, it never really happened. Things swept under the rug, whatever the case may be. And now here we are, fast forward in 2021, and we have this situation with Governor Cuomo. I happen to like Governor Cuomo. I happen to appreciate how he carried through the pandemic situation. I happen to appreciate how he's very strong and outspoken for what he believes in and for the state of New York. I think he's been a fabulous mayor working for the state of New York. At the end of the day, however, I am a man of my principles. And so I cannot give a pass for him because I'm quote unquote off on his team if I didn't give a pass for Trump because I was quote unquote off not on his team. Now let me be clear. I don't appreciate the team sports. I don't appreciate having to pick a side. But we are left with this in this 2-3 party system in which we have to figure out where we stand, and whichever party closely aligns into our spiritual, personal, mental, economic way of life, then we choose who we choose. And I think that's fine to choose. My commitment is not to party. My commitment is to myself, my friends, my family, my faith, my spirituality, my beliefs. And so at the end of the day, I choose based on that. And so I'm not going to say we're not going to acknowledge these allegations because it's a Democrat versus, we're going to go forward with these allegations because it's a Republican. When people make allegations, and people do for many reasons, for many ways. As a black man, knowing the history, teaching the history, preaching the history, and promoting and living the history of African American people in the United States, I know without a doubt that there have been many times in which a black man was accused of sexual misconduct on a white woman. And what happens? It becomes a situation where he loses his life. Or it becomes a big mess. So I know that sometimes allegations can be made up for whatever political purposes that they are. However, I am also a person who experienced abuse. I am also a person who knows people who have experienced abuse. And so because of that, and because I work with trauma, and that is my specialization, is working with trauma, and particularly for African American males, but for all people, helping people cope and work and heal and deal and move on from their trauma, I take all accusations seriously. I don't take the accusations as the person who is the accused is guilty until proven innocent. I just say there's an accusation, let's hear it out, and if we have to go to court about it and bring in evidence, let's do that. But at the end of the day, I don't just dismiss accusations because I disagree with something politically. Or I don't just dismiss accusations because I'm on one team over the other. See, I believe that we have gotten so far into our groups, into our cliques, into our teams, that we have lost our principles. I think a healthy-minded person, a person who is centered within themselves, has a base level of principles that they stand by regardless. For example, I'll give you an example of mine. I do not believe in physically harming children. And by physically harming, I mean whether it's sexually or even violently harming children. Children are defenseless. So if you're hitting kids or if you're abusing kids, I have no patience for that. I have no sympathy for that because kids are defenseless. just like the elderly, and just like those who are mentally disabled and unable to take care of themselves. I have principles that say those people are to be protected. And my Christians, you guys, if you follow the Bible, it says God protects children and fools, i.e. people who have mental disabilities. But I also throw in the elderly, because these are people who are unable to take care and fend and protect many times themselves. It's not saying they can never do it, but overwhelmingly, generally, no. And so I have principles that don't allow me to cross that boundary. I grew up in a situation in which I watched abuse against women. So I do not abuse women because my principles tell me that no matter what, I won't cross that boundary. You won't even see me really tear down black women specifically down on social media. I just don't do that because I think of my mom, who's no longer with us, but I think of my mom, how she would feel if somebody did that to her. I even think of my sister and my cousins and my aunties and my grandmother who are women. I wouldn't want to see anybody else belittle them on a public forum, so I don't do that to someone else's mother, daughter, sister, grandmother, auntie, niece. I don't do it. So I have my principles on certain, those are just some of them, but those are my principles on certain things that no matter what the circumstance is, those things are unmovable. Those things don't change. And I think that there are people who haven't developed principles to ground themselves in, and that with every ebb and flow and situation and things that come up, they change and they shift with the wind. But what are you rooted in? Most of you know, or if not all of you know, who come and follow this channel, I ground a lot of myself in spirituality. Whether it's African spirituality, whether it's Christian spirituality, whether it's Jewish spirituality, whether it's Islamic or Hindu spirituality, I ground myself and center myself in spirituality. And so that doesn't shift with me. There's not one day I'm less spiritual than the next day. There's days I might be upset and angry, or there are days I might be frustrated and have all sorts of issues, but I always, whether I'm angry, upset, frustrated, whatever, revert back for answers from spiritual sources within me and about me, around me. Because that's my foundation, that's my principles, that is what I am grounded on and in and rooted in. And so I can't be a person who in good faith have a certain level of principles over certain things, just changed it because somebody on my team now is being targeted. My hope is that Governor Cuomo isn't guilty. My hope, while I'm talking about this, is that rapper T.I. and his wife Tiny from Escape aren't found guilty of what they're being accused of. My hope is that what Joe Biden was accused of, he wasn't guilty of. These are my hopes. These are my prayers, because these are people I like. These are people I appreciate what they're doing on the planet. So my hope is that they're not responsible for certain things, and these are just false allegations, or these are allegations taken out of context, or whatever the case may be. That is my hope. But what I'm not going to do is give a pass to anybody when there's an allegation made. And I'm not giving a guilt sentence. I'm not giving a innocent, not guilty sentence. I'm just saying, answer the allegations. So if that requires a person to resign from a position, if that requires a person to go away out of the public sphere until things are dealt with, then do that, because you make a bigger message when you say, I'm willing to go work on this and get this taken care of because it's my name. And what is most important to you is your name. If your name is clean, you can bet people are going to remember you and your legacy can be maintained. And that is so important to me. That is so important to me. So I think what needs to happen, what I feel amongst people, like the vibes, the energy, the spirit that I'm getting, is people need to reground themselves in something. Find the principles that you hold solid no matter what's going on. Find the principles that you hold true no matter how the tides of the wind shift. And be true to yourself. Because at the end of the day, shifting principles doesn't say where you lie politically or what team you on. Shifting principles say who you are as a person and your integrity. And if you're not an integritous person, then there's no way spirit can use you. Because spirit only operates in truth. So I just wanted to, that was on my spirit today, y'all. That was just so deeply ingrained in where I was. And all day long, it just was nagging at me. I was reading through social media and just thinking about, you know, how I was feeling. And people were even attacking my opinions. Now, mind you, I don't care if people attack my opinions and have differences of opinions from me. I'm fine with that. That's okay. We're human. We're entitled to have multiple opinions. I also don't care if people don't have a problem with people disagreeing with me. In fact, coming from the conservative Christian background that I came from and being such an open-minded person who was willing to try other things and open my mind to it, put me out of favor and out of agreement with a lot of people. And I'm okay with that. I'm okay with that. But what I'm not okay with is shifting my principles. I have to stand on something. And you all know the saying, if you don't stand for something, then you can be moved. You can be knocked down. You'll fall for anything. And so I had to get on here and talk to my people and talk about that. What do you stand for? Are you being integritous to who you are really on the inside? Because if you are, you don't change those things for changing times. That's it. I love you all. Like I said, I had to get on here and talk about that because it was eating away at my inside and my cathartic way of managing all of the stuff that I feel on the inside that passionate about is to share with you guys because I believe in being transparent, open, and honest. And another transparent, open, and honest thing, I love you guys, and I really, really love you all with light and energy, and I send it all your way. No matter where you are when you're watching this, I hope that that light fills your soul and it fills your spirit, and that you feel the energy of love all around you and approval and acceptance all around you, and that you're able to take that energy and let it be so full in you that you go and live the best life that you have, and you become that blessing to where you're passing that light on to somebody else so that they can feel loved, approved, and accepted, and the energy can be going on and we can share it across the world. I love you, and I look forward to seeing you in the next video.